very concerned, and in fact we address it in the report, that they're going to move ahead and roll out the ICPM across the country, eliminate all the core programs, and not wait for the benefit of the evaluation to see whether or not they still work. Yes, Margaret.
Okay, I just want to comment, Sean, took away your string, but I was going to ask you to put it back, because it struck me that in your last paragraph on the reasons why people end up in prison, which to me, with my 30-plus years experience, talking to families and being involved myself with an old child, is that a lot, those that I've known do end up, and they more often perhaps get to provincial court than federal prisons, but far too many of them go to that route, and it has been a woefully inadequate community mental health system, which in many provinces is aggravated by overly stringent committal rules, unrealistic committal rules that prevent treatment when it's needed. In our province, we've got a good act, but there's a very unfortunate trend has developed where, well, partly professionals don't know what the act says. They will insist that dangerousness is required if it's never been required in my 30 years of experience, and it certainly isn't now. It's all compounded, and as the big hospitals have been closed, and I've seen this myself at Riverview almost disappearing. My son spent 7 years there, off and on. These people are out in the streets, they're dying, they're killing other people, everybody's miserable, and it's so needless, because we have the tools, we're not using them, the resources aren't there.
Yeah, and I think the bottom line is that the resources aren't there. You know, if you go back to the earlier discussion about deinstitutionalization, the promise was deinstitutionalization was supposed to at least be a two-step, right?
Yes.
Close the big hospitals, but build capacity in the community.
Yeah, and our society endorsed the plan, the blue plan under Peter Druitt, if anybody can remember that.
Yeah.
The Socialists were in power with the provision that the capacity be built in the community before the beds were closed. It's never.
But it didn't happen, and it hasn't happened really. It hasn't happened well anywhere in North America. I mean, it's not. This is not a British Columbia specific or even a Canadian specific.
Yeah. And also, I think for those of us who have very severe relatives, I'm not totally in agreement. I think we definitely need tertiary care, and what we've got left of it isn't working very well either. They're just always trying to shunt people out as fast as they can, and some people just need a long time to come back to humanity, really.
The library bell went. We still have time, and such a nice crowd here. It'd be good for me anyway, to chat. Have time for maybe one question more.
It's just these two people have been so patient.
Okay, two questions.
Just two.
The correctional officer has corrected me. And
I'll be brief, uncharacteristically brief.
Questions. Okay, two more questions.
Some of your recommendations seem to impact on looking for practice change within prisons. I'm interested from a systemic point of view. I'm wondering if you can comment about the leadership and management issues around managing cultural change within the institutions.
I just said I'll be brief. Oh boy. You know what? I'll give you a very incomplete answer because it's every prison I've been to has a climate. Every prison, and that climate is that tone at the top is real in a prison, and the senior management in a prison can make or break that prison. In equal measure, the senior leadership of the union can make or break a prison. And so you've got to get those two components in a prison. And the third component, of course, is the inmate population. The inmate population, in my experience, is not typically the barrier. But you get those, you get the staff and management aligned in terms of running the prison. Quite spectacular things can happen in that context. You know, good corrections can happen. Now the really long answer is about how do you get there, and what are the keys? Yeah, what are the keys to management, and really, I mean, let's talk over a cup of coffee or something. It'll take an hour.
Thank you.
Okay, there was one more.
Just a general question. I'm just wondering what is the prevailing perspective among CSC with respect to the omnibus crime bill? Is it seen as a boon? Is it seen as a problem?
Be politically neutral about that.
What is the prevailing opinion of the Correctional Service of Canada about the Omnibus Crime Bill, Bill C-10, the Safe Streets and Communities Act. The Correctional Service of Canada is a department of the government of Canada.
Yes.
And the role of federal public servants is to provide advice and then implement decisions.
Mhm.
Bill C-10 is a legislative proposal of the government. It has not passed Parliament yet. So for that reason, the Correctional Service of Canada doesn't have an opinion on that proposal. But the Commissioner of Corrections has appeared before parliamentary committees to discuss it and has talked enthusiastically around the ability of the Correctional Service of Canada to be equal to the challenges that are presented should Bill C-10 become law.
Okay. Well said.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Talking about writings, for those of you who don't know us, one thing I forgot to mention is that we publish 5 times a year a little advocacy bulletin, the NSSS Advocacy Bulletin. It's on our website. All the back issues are archived. You can take a look at it. And if you'd like to be put on the distribution list, just send us an email, info@northshoreschizophrenia.org or advocacy@northshoreschizophrenia.org. It's a one of a kind. We deal with a lot of issues, and one of the stories that we did have some time ago is the Ashley Smith case, even though it took place in New Brunswick, Ontario, and elsewhere. So NSS Advocacy Bulletin on our website. Please take a look if you're not familiar with it. There is coffee, but before we get into that, I want to ask Cheryl only to say a few words.
Thank you, Herschel. Wanted to thank, first of all, everyone for coming out tonight. It's wonderful to see a full room for one of our lectures. We always try to get the expert on any given topic, and they're usually from as far afield as Coquitlam. So having someone come all the way from Ottawa to talk about a federal issue is it's terrific, and I'm so glad everybody could make it tonight. And we always like to, we never like to send anybody home empty-handed, so we have a small gift for Howard to thank him for coming out tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. And everybody please drive safe.